What's up, everybody? We're live here at the Open Studio headquarters. Sean Jones and Warren Wolf. Just getting everything together. They're going to share to their pages. I'll give you a little tour while we're getting set up. There's Dan Martin. Look at this thing. This is our new digs here, St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, there's Brian Fielding. What's up, Brian?
So we got share?
Yep, if you can find it on yours, go ahead and share it. Cool. So Sean and Warren are going to play a tune here in a minute, and then we're going to ask them some questions about their new courses and just about music in general. So please post your questions below, and we'll try to share it with Sean Jones and Warren Wolf.
So Warren, if you can go to our page and share it.
I'll share it.
Oh, you did.
Cool.
We're on people.
I got it.
Cool. All right.
Thank you. Let me see. Yep.
Sweet.
We're in.
We are in.
We go. Oh, we're going to play now?
Yeah, let's play a tune.
Okay. You want to play the one?
Up to you.
Huh?
Up to you. Not too fast.
Should I sit over here? Sure.
Put this on. Do not disturb.
Let's go along together. Is that cool?
Cool. If you guys want to sit down, we have some questions already. People are leaving, man. That's kind of a bear with the piano for 10 a.m. too, isn't it? It's a little stiff, that one.
Nah, feels good.
You got it.
It's like it's a piano.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for sitting down and talking with us and our friends on Facebook here at Open Studio. Before we get to the questions, you guys are both in St. Louis right now for the SF Jazz Collective, and we were talking a little bit about that band. I wonder if you could just tell everybody what that gig's like. It seems like a really unique gig in that, you know, it's kind of the lineup changes year to year and the tunes are always changing. And what has that experience been like for you all?
It's been a great experience. You know, first you have 8 different people coming together. As Sean Jones like to call it, it's like the X-Men.
That's right, it is. Assemble.
Really, you have 8 different personalities coming together, and we're just forging this one super group, if you want to call it.
Absolutely.
And we've been on the road for the past 6 weeks, pretty much since like March 27th, and we are celebrating the release of our newest CD, The Music of Miles Davis. And you know, it's just a great time to be able to play everybody's arrangements of classic Miles Davis tunes, and also at the same time we're getting a chance to play each other's original compositions. So all in all, every season we have 16 new songs that we rehearse in every October in San Francisco. And just a great time to be out hanging with these guys.
That's the biggest thing for me when I see the SF Jazz Collective every time, you know, are the commissions, right? That everybody brings their own arrangements or tunes, and it brings such a, I mean, even when the members of the band change, the vibe is still so fresh, you know what I mean? Because everybody brings some new stuff every year. So Sean, for you, as the trumpeter in this year's SF Jazz Collective, doing the music of Miles Davis, how did you approach what you brought to the table?
Well, it's really special for me, man, as a trumpet player to play Miles' music as always. For the past few years, actually, since I left Jazz at Lincoln Center, man, I found myself pretty much yearly in some type of Miles Davis tribute, which is kind of funny. But specifically playing with this band is nice because I know that, from what I've heard anyway, I never met Miles, but Miles didn't like to look back.
Yep.
So it's nice to take his music, look back on it, but put, you know, sort of, you know, new wine in old bottles, if I could make an analogy. So we took these pieces, man, and just kind of put a different spin on it. For me, I chose So What.
Yeah.
I don't know, I chose that lastly because I don't think anybody wanted to do it.
Right. It's literally the most famous song that he does.
Yeah, it's almost like if you change it up too much, you know, it's like the jazz police will come at you. So, but I decided to keep some things in place and change other things. Like I kind of cheated the bass line a little bit and kind of celebrated the punches at the end of the bass line. So it was fun, man, and it's always fun to be in the hot seat, you know.
Yeah.
Playing Miles and stuff as a trumpet player.
You know, people are kind of looking at you a little bit harder during these shows, like, what is he gonna bring to this?
Yeah, but you know, everybody chills out when you put the mute on. We put it on early in the show, like, okay, yeah, that's what it is.
So, you know, one of the cool things for us about you guys both being here with us at Jazz Collective is that now you're both OSN artists. Sean, with your amazing course that you released last fall, and Warren, upcoming course that we're releasing this week, which we're super excited about. But I was just wondering, how long have you two known each other? Do you remember the first gigs you played with each other, or the first times you played with each other?
It had to be some Mac Avenue thing, right? Was it?
That could have been it.
Session somewhere?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I've known about him for a while. I want to say honestly that the first time we played together was probably with Todd Marcus.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Todd Marcus is if he's watching this, what's up, Todd? Todd, he's
Todd
a great bass clarinet player in Baltimore who has a 9-piece large ensemble, kind of like the Collective, except we just added bass clarinet.
Oh, cool.
And I was actually playing drums on the gig, and he invited Sean down as a guest. That could have been it, but outside of that, you know, we played a bunch together with, we did a couple of live records with the Mac Avenue All Stars, and, you know, probably just random jam sessions. who knows?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That Ty Marcus gig had to be 10 years ago now.
something like that.
Nice.
It's crazy. He's an amazing writer, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a great
Cool.
writer, great player.
Check out Todd Marcus, everybody.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Cool. Well, before we dive into these questions, real quick, Warren, we just showed you a little bit of what your course is going to look like. Do you want to tell people a little bit what you kind of planned out for this course and what they can expect?
So what you can expect with this course is basically learning like definitely the blues. I like to always stick with the blues because the blues is the root of jazz. We'll have some play-alongs with you. You know, we'll be playing songs like Donna Lee, How High the Moon, Dolphin Dance. You'll actually get a chance to see me. Like it's a cool little video loop where you'll get to play along with me playing drums, bass, and piano.
A band of Warrens.
Yes, a band of Warrens. A band of sexy dudes. No, but you know, we'll have a good time with that. Learn a whole bunch of different things. So it looks great. I hope you guys really sign up for the course. You won't be disappointed.
That's right. It's called Improvisation for All, I think
Yes.
is what we're going to tag it as. So, okay, let's start these questions. And this is kind of fitting. We'll go straight back to Warren. This is from, we have a really talented young intern here who's 16 named Royce Martin, he's a pianist. And he actually transcribed some of your solos for this course. But he wants to know, does Warren practice each instrument he plays equally? And then he has a lot, LOL, and I'm not sure what the LOL
Warren doesn't
was.
practice.
That's a yes or no question. Yes, I do practice each one equally, besides the bass.
Right.
Because simple reason for that, I don't own a bass. So I used to do a lot of air bass when I was in high school. So my high school teacher actually let me take a bass home for the summer, and I never had a lesson. I just started messing around with it, and you know, what you hear is what you get. But yeah, I try to practice nowadays if I can get to it because I have kids. If I can do at least 20 or 30 minutes per instrument, you know, just playing a lot of scales, making sure your chops up, reading, reading etudes and things like that. Nothing necessarily jazz related. It's more or less more classical stuff. You know, as long as you keep the chops up. But yeah,
Cool.
all the time.
Nice. We have a question here for... Oh, we had a question for Sean. I don't see any more, but I remember it, and it was a good question. It was...
Deleted it.
Yeah, the guy ghosted. So, when you all just played a beautiful version of Alone Together duo. So, Sean, how do you approach the duo experience when you're playing with just a pianist or just a guitarist? Did you change anything? Your approach?
Yeah, actually, the more you pare down a group, the more you want to listen to specifically what is happening with the time, how it's working out organically. Because it's not strict, you know, you don't hear a pulse. You don't hear that some type of a click. I like to say, like if the drummer's playing, you're going to hear the ride cymbal.
Right.
And you're going to hear a hi-hat or something that you could grasp onto. When it's just two people playing, you have our collective sense, no pun intended, collective sense of where the time is. So it's important to grasp a hold of that immediately and know where somebody's coming from. If you go back and listen to it, Warren actually played like pads,
Yeah.
you know, in a certain rhythmic time. So I made sure that I was inside of that, okay? Also, you have to know when it's time to play a lot. And if you start off doing that right away, just kind of diving right into it, then you're pretty much going to get off, okay? So I like to try to really focus on that time at first, understand where somebody's coming from, harmonically, melodically, where are we targeting phrases, that type of thing. So yeah, it's a completely different thing. You know?
Cool.
It's very important, I'll say, you know, especially for young musicians to try to find themselves in chamber situations. Chamber situations could be anything from a duet to a trio, quartet, quintet. You don't get that a lot in high schools, you know, usually in a marching band or some type of wind ensemble or orchestra or something like that, and you might have a jazz combo, okay? If you're able to play in a smaller context, it'll force you to listen more, it'll expose your weaknesses, so really dive into those chamber situations.
So Warren, same question for you, because you deal with this on both ends of the spectrum, you know, as a, you know, what you just did on the piano, but also as a vibes player. I'm sure you do duets with bassists and just drummers and pianists and whatever. So do you approach it differently as the accompanist versus the soloist? Or?
Well, it's two completely different things. When I'm playing vibes, I'm really just thinking as a soloist.
Right.
I'm thinking about just kind of like just taking over. But as a pianist, I'm just trying to like create moves and create the vibe. You know, again, no pun intended. I'm trying to create the vibe between myself and whoever is playing with me. You know, just make it interesting. When I'm playing piano, I'm really not really into the whole, in a duo set, I'm not into the whole walking bass thing on the piano. I just like to hold certain notes down, but then maybe add some rhythm on the chords. That's pretty much it, you know, for me.
Cool. We have a question here from some guy named Peter Martin. It says, what music are you guys currently checking out? What are you listening to right now? Are you just on the road in it?
Man, randomly, actually Sean and I, we were in the airport the other day, in one of these electronic stores, and they had some music playing on one of the speakers, like a Bose system, and I did a Shazam on it, and come to find out it was Jose James.
Jose James.
Yep, great vocalist, jazz, hip hop, R&B, smooth guy.
Oh yeah.
But the record that was playing, it was titled No Beginning, No End. So I bought the whole thing right there. So I'm kind of just vibing off of that for the past 5 days. You know, it's a really good record. I think it's from 2013. That's just about it for right now. I mean, I'm sure something else is going to come along, but I'm always interested in checking new things. So
Cool. What about you, Sean?
Same here, man. You know, if something is recent or coming out, I like to know what's going on. I know Thundercat put out a record a little while ago. I've been checking that out. Also, I check out my peers a lot. Gerald Clayton just put out an amazing new record. You know, it's really killing. I'm excited to hear what Ambrose just did at the Vanguard. So I like to know what the cats around me are doing. But I also go back and I listen to the blues all the time. Like that's kind of like my go-to. And when I say the blues, I'm not talking about, you know, like Charlie Parker playing the blues. Yeah. I'm talking about Howlin' Wolf, like Muddy Waters, Hound Dog Taylor, you know, Blind Lemon Jefferson, like the real source of what the blues is, you know.
I remember when we were recording your course, you hit me to the 8-bar blues. Was it the 8-bar blues?
Yeah, 8-bar blues.
Man, that was so hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where
or
you
16 bar, however you want to divide it up, but you know, for me, that's a lot of where my core is.
It's home base.
Playing, that's home base. So I'll always go back to that. Like if I'm on a plane early in the morning, and it's just not feeling right. I'll go right immediately to the blues and put that on.
Lonnie Holby wants to know if you guys are playing in Pittsburgh on this tour. Pittsburgh on the docket.
No, it's not.
No,
not this year.
we played Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Well, I should say the collective played Pittsburgh last year. I was in the hospital with my wife having a baby. But
oh, that's right. Yeah.
I actually missed the gig. But here's the interesting thing. So the collective, we're doing something different. Usually every season we pick a different composer, but this year, well, this coming year, starting October for us. That's the start of the year for us. We'll actually be doing a second year of Miles Davis. So it's kind of like getting to go to other cities who are like fans of Miles Davis, but they didn't get a chance to see us this time. So we'll be around next year. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to Pittsburgh, Manchester's Craftsman's Guild, or Pittsburgh Jazz Festival. Who knows? I can say that Sean and I will be there in 2 separate bands for the Pittsburgh Jazz Festival.
Right. Oh, nice.
So we'll definitely be there. But as far as the collective, maybe next year, could be the year after that. Who knows?
Cool.
We're in Cleveland. It's
Yeah,
not too
close
far.
enough.
So wear your Steeler jersey, go to Cleveland.
All right, Lonnie, you got it.
Bops.
So we have a question. This is a pretty good question from Patrick Boyle. You are both such accomplished teachers. I'm curious to know how you approach grading student improvisations. If teachers are trying to help students sound like themselves, how do you effectively put a grade on it? It's a good question.
That's a great question. Assessment is really difficult in the arts because it's so objective, you know. I think the thing that I look for are certain benchmarks, okay, and certain requirements. For example, you know, it's easy to tell if somebody learned a transcription, okay? If you're working on Alone Together, and you say, okay, well, I want you to transcribe Kenny Dorham's solo on Alone Together from the album Quiet Kenny. You can tell if somebody learned that or not, okay? If you say, okay, your assignment for next week is, I want you to extract certain pieces of that solo and use them in your own solo, and somebody comes in and they play a solo, but they don't know any of the stuff, then it's like, you know, your grade's not going to be as good as if you come in and play some of Kenny's material. Mm-hmm. Also, if you'll have an assignment, I like to assign written solos. Somebody's learning a tune, like a more complex tune, like a pensativa or something like that. I'll say, write 5 choruses out on that. And they write the 5 choruses out, cool, okay, great. It's kind of like a pass-fail scenario, almost in a lot of instances, okay? And there are certain metrics that I have in place as well, like you get a certain amount of points for just showing up, certain amount of points for this, certain amount of points for that. So it's kind of easier to grade when you have those matrices in place. Mm-hmm. But if you're just solely looking objectively at someone's playing and making a judgment on it, then you're not going to be as effective as a teacher. That's one thing that I've kind of failed at early on in my teaching career, is I would just say, oh, well, this cat can't play.
Right.
And give him a D or something.
Right.
You know, him or her. And that's not producing good outcomes. Okay, so I like to say, okay, are they doing the work? Are they reaching certain benchmarks? And if so, you know, your grade will be reflected accordingly. If you're not reaching those benchmarks and and turning in those assignments, then you're not doing so well. So what I try to do, I try not to judge the quality of what somebody's doing. Like, do they sound like X, Y, and Z person, or are they playing like this? Mm-hmm. But I like to see effort. I like to see the benchmarks being reached, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, just learning how to learn at that point. Right?
Learning how to learn,
That's
exactly.
Good. Yeah. So kind of on the same vein of that, from Jonah Cabral. Hey guys, what was your first solo you transcribed? Can you still play it? Do you remember?
Let's see. When I was, not bragging, when I was 6 years old, maybe 5.
Unfair.
My dad made me learn there's a Sonny Rollins solo based on St. Thomas. Yes, I can still play it. I can play it a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be note for note, but I definitely remember this because my dad hammered this in me so much. It's like I played it over and over and over again. I didn't really understand what changes was, but again, going back to the classical thing, I could read really well, even at 5, surprisingly. So I was just reading along. I didn't really know what was happening, but you know, yes, I can still play it.
Man. How about you, Sean? You remember?
Yeah, it was Freddie Hubbard Hubtones in high school. That's kind of advanced for a high school player, but I didn't know what advanced was. You know, I'm just a trumpet player from Warren, Ohio. I just knew it was hip. I love that interval he was playing. I love that, man. When I heard it, I was like, man, I gotta learn how to play that.
But that is pretty advanced trumpet, like technical stuff that he's doing, right?
Yeah, it's very advanced, but I didn't know at the time. I just knew that it's something that I liked, you know? And I think that kind of found its way into my teaching later, man. Mm-hmm. You have no idea. Like I tell teachers all the time, I'm like, don't put your personal limits on your students, you know? And my teacher in high school, his name was Isoto Pellegrini. He would just throw the kitchen sink at me, man. He got an Armin's book for me. He said, hey, kid, play that. Mm-hmm. Play that. And I'm just like, okay. And I figure it out, you know. And the more stuff that I was able to grasp, he just threw more at me, you know, more and more and more and more, knowing that I didn't realize how difficult the stuff was. He knew that I was just hungry enough to get it. So that's what I did with the Hubtone solo, man. And yeah, I can still play it, you know. It's a B-flat blues, you know. Next question is probably gonna be like, play it. Play it. We want to see.
Yeah, exactly. For both of you, who haven't you played with that you might want to play with? Is there anybody left that you haven't hit with that would be fun?
Yeah, the person I'm still hoping to get to for me would be Chick Corea.
Same for me.
Oh, okay.
He's the one I'm trying to get to. I played with a kinda, I mean, not really like a one-on-one situation or like in a true group, even though it was. I played with Herbie last year,
Cool.
or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
with the collective. But yeah, Chick Corea is the one. I mean, I see all these, you know, I mean, I'm a fan of his playing just in general, but I see all the great videos he used to, you know, in his collaboration with Gary Burton. I'm just like, okay, I need to get on that.
And he still sounds great too. Like he's still
Yeah, it's like
innovating.
Chick is still growing and
I know.
still has multiple bands. You know, that run he just did at the Blue Note, which was what, like two months, something
Yeah.
like that, you know, with like 15 different bands, you know, that's just pretty sick.
We have a question from Chick Corea. It says, "Who are you?"
Yeah, same for me. Chick Corea, man. I love to play with that cat.
What is it?
I don't know. So, there was a question on Sean's.
Guitarists are trolling every word because results. What do you think of that? I don't know what that means.
What's that?
So Bo Shelby said to Sean, "Guitarists are trolling your every word because of results." What do you think of that?
Because of results?
Yeah. Does that mean anything to you?
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Elaborate.
Carl Allen says to say hey to Warren and Sean.
What up, Carl?
Carl Allen.
Professor Allen.
Yes.
So do you guys know, this is also from Bo, when will you be back here in St. Louis? Is there, I'm sure next year, you guys seem to come every year with the collective.
I was gonna say it seems like a pretty regular thing.
Yeah. And we got you locked down here at Open Studio too,
Yeah,
so
so-
there's always a chance.
At least once or twice per year. I don't know. I don't have an exact date, but I'm sure Sean will be back. He has a live record coming up.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
recorded here, right?
Yeah, recorded here at the Bistro, man.
Nice.
And I'm really excited about that because this particular room, man, captures what my band is about, man. We really love to play and improvise live and feed off of the audience. And the audiences here in St. Louis are kind of killing, man. They're sophisticated in that you know they're listening,
Yeah.
but they give you feedback. So
Yeah.
we captured all of that on the recording, man. It's
Yeah,
nice.
you have to be able to play. Who is that your regular band? Who's in that band?
Yeah, Orrin Evans is in that band, playing piano.
Nice.
Lucas Curtis is on bass. Two different drummers. In the quintet scenario, I was using, excuse me, another collective member, Obed Calvert. And then the quartet situation is Mark Whitfield Jr.
Oh,
And
cool.
also Brian Hogan's, another cat that can play all the instruments.
Yeah.
From Atlanta, Georgia, is playing alto saxophone.
Did that just get released or is that released
May 26th.
May 26th? I've been
May
seeing
26th.
stuff about it.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So I'll be back in, I think, early spring of next year with that band. And also, we'll be back at Open Studio, probably doing another set of stuff. So,
Cool. All right, well, I think we'll wrap up. Anybody have anything they want to say about the courses or the SF Jazz Collective or anything coming up you want to plug?
Actually not. We have some coming up, but nothing to plug right now.
Cool.
check out the courses. I have to be honest, I didn't know what to expect when I got involved with this organization, man. But what you guys are putting out is really fantastic. You're able to cut right to the chase with what you need to learn with each lesson. You know, the title of the lesson, you get to it. It's not some long thing. You know, it's really concise. You're able to transcribe. You're able to play along, go back and check it out. And also, you know, there's a direct line to us if you got any questions about this stuff through Open Studio. So it's a really exciting product, man.
That's right.
Happy to be
OpenStudioNetwork.com. Check it out. Warren Wolf, Sean Jones.
Should we play another or no?
You want to play one out? Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sure.
All right.
Cool. They're gonna play one more tune. Thanks everybody for
Warren's
joining
gonna
us.
challenge me. I
Nah,
saw that look
recording.
in his eyes.
Oh no.
Something simple like Stars.
That's cool.